Where is the souvenir shop? That's almost the first question that many tourists ask upon arrival at a new destination. Handicrafts are an important part of the tourist experience. They represent immediacy, they represent the future, they represent remembrance. And as such, they are important. The varieties of handicrafts are basically in two categories. They are either the plastic arts, which are made from substance, jewelry, something that you can manufacture out of gold or silver or gemstones or fabrics or fibers or whatever. And then there are also the graphic arts, which are represented by music, dancing, folklore, storytelling, plays, and so on. The neophyte or newcomer tourist coming into an area is often concerned, what should I buy? What's the right price to pay? What should I take home? My suggestion is go to a reputable jewelry shop or a reputable souvenir shop. Local people will always tell you who's good and who's honest, and inquire of them. They'll give you direction and tell them what you have in mind, what you can afford to buy, what's the best purchase. I've found that they are almost without fail helpful in directing you to something that is worthwhile, something that you'll be glad that you have after you get home. I want to call attention to this necklace made from walrus ivory and baleen. It's an antique, it's a museum quality, very fine workmanship, made by an individual whose family history I know. We ask always, if we can, who you manufactured, what do we know about them, what was their lineage, what was their family situation, did they die or were they injured in an accident, or that so often happen among Arctic hunters. But it's the personality that lies behind the piece that makes it significant. And I think from a tourist viewpoint, it's again back to the comment made earlier, that it's the people we meet that stay with us the longest. It's those memories of the personal interaction that we have. And when we find a piece of handicraft that we can buy, and as I like to do, to be able to take a picture, a photograph of the individual holding the piece that they made, then I know that I have made a friend, and they know that it's gone to someone who cares. Handicrafts, in my opinion, also include oral literature and folklore. And as such, that should be considered as a portion of the visitor experience. The legends that people tell are usually somewhat modified history. They're elaborated. That's fine. They elaborate them and embellish and embroider them with ideas and values that reflect aspects of their culture. If it's an old lady, it may be a very, very old lady. So we suddenly know that there are grades of aging in a society. Or they'll talk about a very strong man, but there'll be a very big, strong man. Or it will be a shaman, a medicine man, and there may be some sort of a shudder that goes along when they discuss that individual because of their fear of the individual. But the legends and the folklore are representative of what I would like to think of as the inner core of a culture. You don't easily penetrate to that in a first-time experience unless you're very lucky or persistent or just happen to be in the right place at the right time. Most people will withhold that. They're sensitive. They know that those values are personal. They could be laughed at. They could be ridiculed. And they're wary about sharing those unless they are for public performance. And then again, you run into the question, at what point is a private ceremony turned into a public performance? And then it ceases to have the same kind of authenticity. Anthropologists are very particular about the degree of penetration of the public into private performances. And we've not been especially successful in maintaining the boundary between the two. People, tourists, and visitors want the show. They want to see the elaborateness of the costumes and the dance. This is exciting visually. Sometimes they're not even very polite about what they see and the performance. They may not like it. They may shudder or they may walk away. It may be erotic. It may be distasteful. You can't tell how a public is going to respond. But many, many cultures have taken strong attitudes and said that our performances are not for public consumption. I was forced to do that myself, doing field work with the Alaskan Inupiat. I knew that their dancing was not performed regularly. I knew that I wanted it to be performed for the elder workshop that we were operating. And so when we started our first evening of dance, a crowd began to gather at the door. And I went to the door and locked it and said, sorry folks, this is the dance, this is the elders dancing for themselves. And it's not a public performance. And the other people backed away respectfully and acknowledged that they had that right. And for that reason, we were able to record a number of dances that they probably would not have done.